Hi, welcome to Gene Rants. I'm Gene, and today, well, you know what we'll be talking about because you saw the title to this vlog. Two news items which I will be putting together and making, drawing a conclusion and making, well, it's actually asking a question to which you may already know the answer by the time you're seeing this because I'm recording it the day before you're seeing it. Now, I'm recording this a day after Jimmy Kimmel returned to the airwaves. He was suspended last week, 5 days ago, I believe it is by now. And we, in a way, should have suspected that he would be back because he wasn't canceled. He was suspended. Suspended is a temporary thing. When it could be you're suspended and they're going to evaluate him and decide on whether they're going to bring him back. Now they decided that they're going to bring him back. They brought him back, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I mean, as a business decision, ABC could have said, well, you left-wingers, you love Jimmy Kimmel, but not enough of you were watching the show. The show was losing money. And now, as I'm recording this, the two, Nexstar and Sinclair, they are large organizations that own a lot of ABC affiliates. They stopped airing the show when Kimmel said what he said, and that was one reason that ABC took him off. Okay, Kimmel is back, but these two, Nexstar and Sinclair, they're still saying, well, we are not going to, we're still not airing him. And whatever Kimmel said, which we will get into when he came back, so far it hasn't satisfied them, and it shouldn't. But those two organizations together, there are 250 ABC affiliates, and those two companies, they control 64 of them. So it's 25%, a quarter of the ABC affiliates are, as I'm recording this, maybe it changed by the time you're seeing it, but he is, I don't know why these organizations would put him back on, try to find something else that has a bigger audience. I don't know, show Twilight Zone reruns. They would probably get more of an audience, but than Kimmel would ever get. And they should buy old episodes of Craig Ferguson he's my favorite. I don't have a TV, believe it or not. I'm a TV addict. If I turn on the TV, then I'll just watch all night. I'll watch like History Channel one after the other. So I go on YouTube and I watch occasional clip, and Craig Ferguson was great, and ABC could maybe buy those episodes and run them and be 100 times better. Or old Johnny Carson episodes, they would be much better. Anyways, getting off the track here as I so often do. So getting back on track as a business decision, I don't know, it doesn't make any sense if you're losing a quarter of your affiliates, a show that already nobody was watching. I don't know this is how bad it is. When Kimmel took over the Tonight Show, not the Tonight Show, when he came on the air in 2015, he was, which may be another thing because Kimmel's contract, the 10-year contract, it expires next May. So maybe ABC will just keep him on because they paid him a salary or something, and keep him on until May, and then just not renew his contract. Anyways, so it was 1.2 million, I think. The prized demographic for advertisers is a 25 to 54 year age group. So obviously they're not targeting shows to me anymore. So nothing for me. Another reason not to have a TV. They're not creating stuff for me so much. But anyways, that he had 1.2 million listeners or watchers and viewers in that category. Now it's down to something like 265,000. So that's a big drop right there. So ABC cannot be making a whole lot of money from the advertising. So ergo, they are losing money on this guy. But Kimmel, everybody wanted to know what he would say when he came back on the air. Would he apologize and admit that he was wrong? And then, more important, correct himself and give the true fact. Now, what he said was, he basically insinuated, and by the way, like I said, I don't have a TV, but I watched the clips. I saw the clip of what he said when he was canceled and what he said when he came back. And, I guess he cries a lot. I don't watch the show. He was, in tears, what I saw, but my understanding is that he does that a lot. I guess every time, maybe when Trump won the re-election, maybe there were some tears then. You can tell me in the comments. Anyways, so waiting to see what he says, and what we got was, I guess, what you call a non-apology apology, because what he had said originally, he said, don't, basically, don't cry like Jimmy Kimmel does, you right wingers, because Charlie Kirk was killed by one of your own, which to Kimmel it means a MAGA Republican. So he was saying that Tyler Robinson, the alleged shooter, was a right winger. We knew that very day. We knew Kimmel should. I'm sure he must have seen the news, or it was an ignorant thing to say anyways, but he he clearly was. I mean, the statements on the bullet casing. He was living with a transgender, or a male who was transitioning to female. His parents said they were conservative. That's what other people tried to say. Well, his parents were conservative, and so he was conservative. Tyler Robinson. No, he was far on the left, and we see this all the time of kids going off to college, getting radicalized, and then coming back and having these terrible Thanksgiving dinners where you have a radicalized, child lecturing his conservative parents. So you're going to see that. Thanksgiving is in about another month, and you're going to see that again. So the point is, Tyler Robinson was solidly on the left. So what would Kimmel say? Would he say, "I'm sorry, I got it wrong," and this guy? Well, here's what he did say first. He said, "Well, I did not wish for any harm to Charlie Kirk. I would never wish the death of anybody," and nobody accused him of that. Accused Kimmel of wanting Charlie Kirk to be assassinated. But then he went on and he said, well, I don't remember the exact word. He said that phrase that he used, or term, that Kirk was killed by, I guess, he said that he was killed by a deranged or a disturbed individual, something like that, implicating that the guy, still not saying that. I mean, it's possible you could be the guy who was on the right and but he was disturbed on the right, and he put into action what he was disturbed, and he put into action what all you MAGA Republicans basically were thinking, right? So, but would never do. But it's not enough, and that's somebody said. I wish I could find the tweet to put it up, but it said, no, that is not enough, because then I would just quote this person. But basically, that is not enough. That is not enough. What Kimmel should say, and Sinclair and Nexstar should hold him to this, is no, you have to say that the individual, Tyler Robinson, was not on the right. Nothing to do with disturbed or not. He was not on the right. He was on the left. You could say he was disturbed, a disturbed left winger, but say, frankly, I got my facts wrong. I said that Tyler Robinson was was a right winger and a MAGA Republican, or a Republican at all, and it's not enough to say, well, I was wrong about that. Then you have to correct the fact and say he was solidly on the left. Tyler Robinson was a left winger. You can say he was a disturbed left winger, but he was a left winger. There's no doubt about that. And so that's what he should have said, and then apologize for saying it. And he did not do that. And so now the question is, this brings us now, it took me a little while, but now we get to, as I'm recording this, so you will know more when you're seeing this a day after I'm recording it, then I know right now. But there was there was a shooting in Dallas outside an ICE facility. I'll call it a facility. I don't know what the official name is. But anyways, there was a shooting, sniper on, I believe it was on the roof, but it was from a building across the street of an ICE facility. And several, well, two people were killed. Two people, and I think one seriously wounded, and one wounded, two killed, and the other, I think those were the only people. I think could have been more shots than that fired, but that's what happened. And they found, now that was announced. Let me put the headline up. Actually, I got the headline right here and put it right up here. Dallas sniper had anti-ICE messages written on ammo. One dead, two wounded. So there you go. You have that headline, anti-ICE messages. This shooter was on the left, like Tyler Robinson. There is no doubt about that. And the irony is that the two people that were killed, that he caught, they turned out to be unlawful aliens. So you have an anti-ICE guy who far leftist, who shot two unlawful aliens. So there's your irony for you. But the point I'm getting at now is the question that I asked in this title. So now we saw what is Jimmy Kimmel going to mention this shooting like he did mention the shooting of Charlie Kirk? And will he say, as he said to the right, he said, well, you were killed by one of yours. Will he say, he was on the left, and I don't want to hear any tears from you on the left because these two people were killed by one of yours? Will he say that? And I predict he won't say that. But he probably, and in a way, I don't think he should say that now that I think of it, because that's just repeating what he said. In other words, tarring all leftists and say he was killed by one of yours. In a way, I mean, he could. Well, Charlie Kirk was killed by one of yours. If you're on the left, he was killed by one of yours, not one of ours. But at least mention, as he did, however politely he wants to do it, make it clear that, just as he clearly said erroneously about Tyler Robinson, say correctly about the Dallas sniper, that he was on the left. He was a left-winger, no doubt about it, unless there's some anti-ICE right-wingers out there. So that's it. That's for today. Eager to hear your comments. Comment section below the video. Show this video with anyone you think would benefit from it. But most of all, come back and see me again. Oh, and share it. Did I say share this? Oh, subscribe. But most of all, come back and see me again. I'd love to see all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, even though I cannot literally see all of you again, but you know what I mean. Bye.